outstanding basketball games already on Championship Saturday here at the Dean E. Smith Center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And now the Cavs and the Falcons set to go head-to-head for the 3A girls state title. Alongside the coach, Kevin Cantwell, Jason Patterson here. And coach, this one, if ever there was one, is a contrast in styles. One team in Cuthbertson that wants to slow it down. One team in Southeast Guilford that wants to really speed it up. Who wins that battle wins the basketball game, it would seem.
Exactly right. You know, Cuthbertson, they play the game inside. They're patient with the basketball. And, you know, Jason, it's very hard to take a patient team and make them run. I use Virginia. Everybody tries to give Virginia a run. They're not going to run. And, you know, so Southeast is going to have to play a half-court game here, I think, unless they do a great job of defense and steal the ball.
A couple of outstanding upper-class distributors in this game that we're going to be keeping an eye on. We start by looking at Kristen Roberts for Southeast.
She's the point guard. She makes it go on offense and defense. She's a leader, and she does a great job handling the ball both with the right hand and the left hand.
Flip over on the other side. Kayla Young has some major presence figures inside that she'll be trying to work the basketball down to throughout the game.
And she's going to have to handle the ball, bring it up the court, because she's going to get pressure. And then all of a sudden, she's going to have to get the ball inside because they're big and they go inside and they play the game inside.
All right, we've already alluded to it a couple of times, but let's zero in on it now. Your Ingles food for thought is the keys to the game. What are they, Coach?
Well, Cuthbertson has to control the pace. They have to control it and limit the turnovers, limit them. And then Southeast is going to up-tempo the game, up-tempo it, and they're going to have to keep them off the boards. They're going to have to keep off the boards and play defense inside.
It's going to be a battle for control, a battle for pace. More than all that, it's a battle to take the trophy back home. The 3A Girls State Championship from Chapel Hill, North Carolina is next. Well, how many times did your coach say it when you were growing up? Tempo, tempo, tempo. It's the key to this basketball game. Let's revisit our Ingles food for thought. Coach, what does this one come down to?
It comes down to can Southeast play a half-court game? Because it's very hard to get a team that's patient and they play a game and they go inside first, they comes outside to get them to run. And they're big, so they don't like to run. And he does a great job. But, you know, coach over there is worried about the defense of Southeast, you know, getting the run, stealing the ball. So it all goes down to Southeast has to really defend the girls inside.
Well, those are the keys to the game, brought to you by Ingles as our Ingles food for thought. Time to take a look at the starting lineups. We mentioned some key players, but here's the full surrounding cast for Cuthbertson. We got the freshman in Preston, the junior in Bethea, on the Southeast Guilford side of things, in addition to Roberts. There you see Young on your screen in the middle of this lineup for Cuthbertson. As we look at both starting lineups, understand these teams both play as complete units, and it really comes down to who can set the tone and the pace for this contest. Ball in the air, and the 3A Girls Championship underway, controlled by Cuthbertson. Coach, what do you watch for early when you're a team like Cuthbertson?
All right, Cuthbertson, they're in a zone. Southeast is in a zone, which is a great move because you match up inside because they're outmatched inside. So it really helps out there. There you go.
Work it in right away. They get a look, and now a tie-up. Possession arrow is with Southeast, so it will be the Falcons with the basketball. Falcons in the black and orange out of Mid-Piedmont 3A. There you see Coach Allen of Cuthbertson. They're out of Southern Carolina 3A in the Navy and Vegas gold.
Southeast has already changed their style. They went to a zone. They've already,
And now a little disruption out top, and it ends up into the hands of Cuthbertson's Maddie Dillinger. You believe Dillinger, and why not? She averages 13.5 as the leading scorer in the game. May be the player who this game hinges on.
Exactly. She's only a sophomore. She's the sophomore. She's the one who got fouled right there at the beginning.
Pass a little too tall, and I guess that's what you have to hope for if you're the Falcons. Disrupt this crisp half-court game and hope for some mistakes, and that certainly is what we were told in our conversations with Rachel Clark. What a story. She was a player at Southeast, now in her head coaching stint, trying to lead this team in her 5th season to a championship. Neither of these teams have ever advanced past the 3rd round of the playoffs. So somebody's going to win a title for the first time here today.
In the Dean Dome, which is great, you know. And the Dean Dome, Mark players got nervous the first time they came in here.
Yes, sir. You're saying it does it.
Tech.
You're saying it does it to college kids.
It does. It's a great job.
Well, there's a bucket knocked down from the perimeter, and it's Guilford on the board first. Southeast able to get in the scorebook right away, and now back the other way. How about both teams doing what they do to get things started? Inside work for Cuthbertson and the bucket for Hardiman.
And Laura, she handles the ball very well. And they got pressed, you know, right after they score, Southeast went into a press, and that's what they have to watch out for turnovers. The Cuthbertson plays a really sagging man-to-man defense. That's all they play.
Kennedi Simmons getting the 3 ball to go the last time. The junior, she is the leading scorer, 18.6 per game for the Falcons. Also the leading rebounder at 7.1 per contest. So keep an eye on number 5. She scored the last time out. It's going to be a work toward the bucket for Southeast. Raven Preston this time. And boy, some young players that are going to be impact players. And here's one at the charity stripe, Coach. Raven Preston, just a freshman, and boy, are they high on her skills.
He's averaging 14 points a game. You know, Coach Allen said that the one thing he wants to stop is penetration, and they just got it. The penetration turns into a foul. He wants to stop that penetration.
That's the first of our ECPI University free throws. ECPI, what are you waiting for? And the second one is true for Raven Preston. Talk about her as a surprising player as a freshman. Here she is right back at it again, making her mark early. Well, there's some pressure provided by the Falcons, keeping Cuthbertson from getting it up the floor.
That's one concern Coach had was turnovers and getting pressed. But you know what created that was when they score, they get into the trap. If they don't score, there's no trap.
So watch for it after made buckets. Here's another 3. This one from distance for Kristen Roberts. But rims off, and here comes Young. What a special player, the senior at 5'6", really directs the traffic for Cuthbertson. Working out top with Hardiman.
And that's what I would do. I'd zone this team, and I would do that. Now you have to keep him off the boards, so that's where it's hard in the zone because you can't box out.
And trying to put up a second look, Maddie Dillinger will draw contact, and she gets ready to head to the charity stripe. Dillinger, the sophomore, at the line.
When you're in a zone, you're not matched up with a person, so it's hard to box out. And so it's easy to get second shots. And that's something you have to watch.
A key factor in this one today as the ECPI free throw rattles down to get Maddie Dillinger in the scorebook. First point of the contest for Dillinger, likely not the last. If you missed it when we talked about it, averages in double figures at 13.5, and she has a couple from the free throw line. Keeps it a 1-point game. Well, you're going to see it right away. The speed, the quickness of this Southeast team against the power play inside by Cuthbertson. The reins of this game up for grabs. They lob underneath. There's Dillinger. Still fighting for it. And there's the pace that the Falcons are hoping for. The finish true for Kennedi Simmons.
Here comes the trap. That's what.
There's the traveling call.
Maddie Dillinger has great hands. She caught that ball inside there. She has tremendous hands.
Here's a look at the other end of the floor where the Falcons get Kennedi Simmons an inside chance. Simmons with 5 quick ones in the early stages of this game. She had the 3 and now the inside bucket. And a mad scramble for it. You were talking about her hands. Somehow it ends up in Dillinger's grasp. Seems to be comfortable bringing it up the floor as well, and then dumps it off to Young.
So far they're going inside. They're not even looking to shoot the ball outside. They're just going to be looking for the girls inside.
And a little floater, and boy, does it work out. How about the stroke for Kayla Young? The senior lays it home. But they come right back at you, don't they, Coach?
I'll tell you what, there was no defense there. She went on. It's like a layup contest.
Worked her way right through, but did not get the finish she was hoping for, and now Young slows things down again. It's the pace Cuthbertson wants to play throughout, and boy, how well was that designed, although the finish isn't there.
They're going to get back on defense and stop the transition here.
Cuthbertson team that has gone 29-3 on the year. And this Falcons squad, 14-0 in the conference, 27-3 overall out of Greensboro, North Carolina. From the corner, Just a little off. And now a foul called as Young tried to push it up the floor.
Cuthbertson on the last 2 trips down the court was in a 1-3-1 zone. A little trap out here. So they changed out of the man-to-man.
A couple of substitutions. Kaylin McKinney coming into the game. And Marissa Nola for Cuthbertson. This Cuthbertson squad out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, Southern Carolina 3A, right down on the state line. They're locked into a 1-point affair with Southeast mid-stages, first period. Championship Saturday in North Carolina. You know what that means. Smiles all around. Take a look at the fans here in the Ding Dome. The Lane and Associates Family Dentistry Smile Camp. Lane and Associates, we love to make you smile. Well, both these teams have given their communities reasons to smile, and they've played pretty evenly. 7-6 through the first half of the initial period.
Yeah, it's exactly. Cuthbertson has to get back on defense. They really do. They're getting beat on full court. They're going down the court and they're missing short shots.
Well, there's a perimeter shot to complement the interior work that Cuthbertson has done. That's Lillian Anderson. They just call her Lily, and the junior is true from the outside.
She's an all-conference player.
Involved in the takeaway here. And you mentioned it. The Falcons able to get back very quickly, and now here's a foul right in front of that Southeast bench.
No, Ruby Williams in the game, and she's a freshman too. And she's 5'8". She's long arms there. She's the one that stole that ball.
Ruby Williams, we talk about her as being able to play anywhere. Coach Allen says a high ceiling. She'll play at the next level. Just tremendous athlete. Gives them so much depth.
The Southeast is getting a little trapped here. Cuthbertson is deflected about 5 passes. They're not used to this height. They're not used to playing against this height, and they're getting the passes deflected.
And what adjustments can you make in that scenario, Coach?
You know what? They're lobbing the ball over top. They need to go under. You know, big people don't want to bend down. And so just bounce it.
Simple laws of physics, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Out top, into the hands of Roberts. It's Kristen Roberts.
I call those high school passes, the little alley-oop passes. They're going to be, you got to watch out for those.
Closing in on the final 2 minutes of the first period that has been back and forth, giving us an 8-7 score.
Another one.
And it's going to be a traveling call. It will be a turnover. Well, Southeast Guilford making it here, knocking off Chapel Hill. Eastern Alamance punt in an eye-opener, 71-15, the final in that one. Jacksonville and then E.E. Smith in an L-biter. Here's Cuthbertson. Enough effort to get back and disrupt. There's Sydney Roberts getting a hand in there.
You know, Cuthbertson's manned. They've 1-3-1 zone. They got 2-3 zone. They changed it up.
On the inbound. Ball taken away. A little one-on-one. And nice use of the glass up high. Kennedi Simmons with another bucket. She has 7 early points. Here's a takeaway.
You need to look up court. You don't look sideways. You look up court to get the ball. And that's not a good spot to throw the ball in.
That was Kristen Roberts off the window.
That's it.
And now the pressure broken. And that's what happens when you can break it. Laid home by Kamaria Sheriff. Sheriff, a sophomore at 5'10". Clearing things out. Bringing it up the floor is Lauren Hardiman.
Lauren's very good. She runs the whole show in a way.
She's a pesky defensive player. 2.4 steals per game. That leads the team. Driving through, and she draws the contact out near the top of the key. This foul going to go against Kennedi Simmons. It's a first personal and a third team foul on Kennedi Simmons. Cuthbertson to inbound their path. Wins over Forest View, Watauga, Kings Mountain, Ashboro, and Freedom. 41-37 was their semifinal win over Freedom. And there's a nice design play off the inbound inside. The finish for Sheriff.
He has very good inbound play. I was watching film on him, and he does a very good job. Man zone, that was his own inbound play.
Long three, won't go for Roberts. But a second chance coming up for Southeast. And from the corner, a true stroke. Kennedi Simmons has been outstanding in this first quarter.
They shoot the ball very well from outside, and I was worried about that because of the dingo, but
gathered up a little bit. And guess who? Kennedi Simmons. Simmons in double figures in the first period, personally. Watch from behind. Cuthbertson looking for a bucket. The Southeast has stretched it out just a little bit. Instead, it will be a trip to the line.
You know, there's one thing you can't do against a zone trap full court is dribble. Dribble the ball, dribble. Because you lose sight of where who's open, and you're going to dribble right into some people. So Cuthbertson has to stop putting the ball on the floor and look up.
Cuthbertson battled through some injuries this year. They won 16 straight after losing the opener to Nations Ford out of South Carolina. From November 21st to January 22nd, did not lose. Dealt with some injuries. A couple of losses there in the middle of the year, but have everybody healthy now at the right time in the heart of a championship fight. Here come the Falcons again. Well, that right hand proved to be fruitful at the horn for Raven Preston. The freshman lays it off the glass, and the Falcons are out front.
That would have been a charge, but the girl fell down. Not that one, before the one that just entered the court.
18-12 in the end of the first period. Southeast talks about Kennedi Simmons as their highest IQ player. Sees the floor, always thinking ahead. At 22 last time out. Easy to see why they're so high. She has 12 points through the first 8 minutes of action.
You know, Cuthbertson's giving up the transition defense is not very good. And the other thing is, their trappers, they've got 5 steals. Southeast got, Cuthbertson has 5 turnovers, and they've scored out of 3 of them.
And you saw Simmons work there and gaining those 12 points to lead all scorers. Here she goes back to work on the interior. Simmons had 9 of the final 14 scored down the stretch against E.E. Smith to put this team in the state championship game, and she has picked up right where she left off. And now Cuthbertson to work. They get it inside, and there's Dillinger.
Yeah, you know what's amazing? I was watching, and I didn't know, but I just noticed Southeast come out of that timeout. They're a totally different team. Now they're comfortable. They're moving faster in that offense, and that's, you know, just the atmosphere, you know, they get over the atmosphere.
So much of it is dealing with playing in a big arena after spending so much of your time in a high school gym.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And what arena is it?
Well, and then you think in terms, too, I mean, even the length of the floor. You're dealing with a little longer floor. That's something that, in talking with Coach Rachel Clark, she said, we want to exploit that. With our speed and the way we like to run, we want to exploit the length of the floor. The depth perception issues, something that they take very different approaches to, but you're battle with this environment for sure. Here come the Falcons again.
It was a fake. She faked to get charged, and they got called for a foul.
And it ended up
I don't know about
whistled.
that,
So it'll stay right
she
where
got
it is.
whistled because she faked it.
Let's take another look.
Maybe she did trip her.
Well, could have got her with that right foot that was just out of view there, perhaps.
Yeah. They got the man-to-man.
Thinking about it for just a moment was Preston.
Man-to-man should stop the penetration. The zone, they were penetrating that zone.
Kennedi Simmons gives it up out top. Buffet was looking for a little help, held on to it just a little bit too long. Coach, you were talking just a moment ago about the arena. Obviously, we talked about Rachel Clark wanting to exploit the extended floor, some of the things they talked about. Joel Allen, He teaches AP psychology there at Cuthbertson, the head coach. He said, you know what? Just call me a psych guy, but I just decided not to even talk about it with my girls. Just let it fall where it falls. There are many different ways to approach it.
Exactly.
However you approach it, you have to handle the energy that's required to get your legs underneath you in this building.
Yeah, going into the game, you don't mention it, but if it's happening during the game and you say...
Then you address it. You got it. He said, we made it a point not to talk about it. We ran our normal packages. We've done our best to try and keep our girls in their game. Well, that's the name of the game in this one. Both these teams with very different styles in their game, trying to instill their will on the others. Now, let's see what happens on this possession for Southeast. Going to be a whistle as they tried to weave through traffic behind Kristen Roberts.
The two big things Southeast got, they're going to shoot the ball and they're going to penetrate. Penetrate turns into a lot of fouls, but that's what they're going to do. That's what they do best. You know, talking about the size of the
free throw.
Yeah, you talk about the size of the court. You know, you're in the corner. I watched the girl. She was driving the corner before. She didn't realize that she took 2 dribbles and she still hadn't got close to the lane. So I think that shocked her a little.
Sure.
You know.
Where you get your offense started in the half court,
yes.
Obviously a little different. So many things that you have to wrestle with that you really don't think about it. A little more to this than just basketball. Of course, you made the passing comment earlier as we were going to break that even some of those great Georgia Techs you had dealt with some jitters when they came in here.
Always, always.
It is the Ding Dome after all. So much history in this building.
I'm not sure that's the shot they want because that shot can turn into transition.
Slowing things up. They close in on the 5-minute mark, second period. And the battle for the board goes all the way to that corner and is gathered up by Simmons. Lost right in front of that Cuthbertson bench. Talked about Coach Allen, Guilford High School in South Carolina. Lancaster, South Carolina native. He won 2 baseball, 1 football state championships. Thought he would be a baseball or football coach, but learned to love the pace of coaching basketball. He had the Buford boys for a while, 6 seasons, before moving to North Carolina to coach football. He moved for the football job, and then the girls' basketball job opened up. Now he has them in the championship game. He said, it's made me a better coach coaching the girls. And guess what? He's in a coaching family. His wife, outstanding softball coach, having won a number of championships there in South Carolina at Guilford High School. And he said, boy, what a challenge this has been for us, because this year we're already well into her softball season and I'm still playing basketball. Not a complaint, just a challenge. And when you ask him who's the better coach in the family, he pulled no bones about it, the wife all the way.
Even if it wasn't true.
Perimeter shot, true there. Big bucket knocked down by Cuthbertson's Kayla Young. Boy, Young with 5 already in the game. Offensive foul going to send it the other way. Of course, you might be familiar just finishing up that on Coach Allen's wife with some of her work. Lexi Davis, the Auburn standout in softball, played for her. And as we mentioned, she's made it a custom of playing for state championships there at Guilford High in South Carolina. They had high expectations coming in, this Cuthbertson team. Winning the conference last year, motivated. They believed after their 3rd round exit they could get back. Here they are. And it's taken away by the Falcons on their trip down the floor this time. Stepping in and having none of it. Lillian Anderson blocks it away.
You know, Coach Allen's really shifted up players. He's putting Maddie outside now, and she's on the corner.
Interesting to see the strategy back and forth between these coaches. We'll get back to break it down a little more right after this. 3-point game in the second quarter.
Trash here. But he put that, Maddie's going inside, outside. Now she's inside. Before she was in the corner.
Works it back up top to Anderson, and now a shot near side that won't catch anything. And it will be Falcons basketball.
That's depth perception in this big building.
It happens to the best of them.
They'll adjust.
Now the Falcons up the floor once more. Work it around out top to Bethea. Firing away from three-point land, it's Kristen Roberts. Known as a savvy ball handler, the way she's able to break the press, verbal leader. She's headed to Guilford College, had chances to go a lot of different places. Decided she wants to go right there. Well, she found her spot on the floor here, too. And now a turnover forced on the other end as Southeast provides some pressure, and Raven Preston is in the middle of it all. Here's another look at that most recent three by Roberts. Headed to Guilford College. They're going to be able to see her in those parts for a long time to come.
Maddie just turned it over 2 times in a row, dribbling the ball outside of the perimeter.
And this time, Roberts not quite as true as the last time around.
Yeah, the last time she shot the ball, she was set.
Yep.
That time she tried to shoot the ball and move her.
7 of 12 for Cuthbertson to begin things. 7 of 17 for Southeast, and now it's physical inside and a whistle, and there's a look at Rachel Clark pleading her case for Southeast. Take another look at the contact here.
Yeah, I thought there was a foul in the first.
And now inbound into the hands of Dillinger. Boy, thought about stepping into it. Did Anderson. Working toward the bucket. Too many white jerseys there, but look who cleans it up and earns a trip to the line as a result. Maddie Dillinger, the sophomore, back to the charity stripe. Well, she'll take a couple more Planet Fitness free throws. Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone, sponsor of our second and third period free throws on the state championship Saturday.
You know, Lauren goes in there and she tries to dribble through a zone. She's going to run into a lot of people, so she said that. She's got to think about that twice before she goes there again. You know what Cuthbertson now, in the last 2 times against the press, they're putting the ball in a different spot. That's why they got the ball up the court. They're not throwing it in that corner, so it should be interesting to see, because if they don't lose the ball in the press, they'll be all right.
And Dillinger, a 62% free throw shooter, knocks them both down. Both those Planet Fitness free throws are good. Lead 6 for Southeast as they work it around the top. Now looking for some room. And hard down the lane. The blocking foul is called. Looks like that's going to go against Anderson, perhaps.
I tell you, Lillian Anderson knows exactly. They know that Shante Bethea's not going to shoot the ball. She's just sagging 15 feet off her.
It's a second personal on Anderson. And it sends Simmons to the line. Simmons still the leading scorer on both sides. That was her 14th point as she knocked down the Planet Fitness free throw. All conference, all district. Is the junior in her 3 years on varsity. She's solid on both.
Let's see where they throw the ball in bounds. You don't want to throw the ball in right on that side of the court, on the right side. You want to get it. That's it. So they talked about it. That's a great adjustment by Coach. That's a great adjustment.
Down to the baseline, into the hands of Dillinger. Has to gather it back up. And then it's too strong. Able to take the rebound away and put it back is Lillian Anderson. The junior with a key bucket. Now with 1 and change remaining in this first half. Boy, you call the coach for Cuthbertson, so many big bodies inside. It's a matter of speed versus muscle with these two going head-to-head. Under a minute to play first half. That's blocked. It's Lily Anderson again. Rising up on both ends of the floor. Anderson.
Yeah.
A 4-point game in 40 seconds. Dillinger calling for the basketball. Just a little too strong.
Oh, that was, yeah. That zone is above that.
All right. Bad move, but the finish not there for Preston either. Looks as if it may be Cuthbertson's to finish up with here. And the foul on the shot attempt by Ruby Williams. One of those freshmen.
They're getting decent looks, though. That's not finishing with them. They're getting decent looks inside. I think the adjustment, the coach, man gets the zone press is really big because they were literally, that was really good. Really good involved them if they kept throwing the ball into that right-hand corner. Now he's got to be throwing the double. That's what they brought the ball up the court the last 2 times easy.
You like the adjustments?
Oh, yeah, you've seen that. Perfect.
Another Planet Fitness free throw coming. And the second one good. So 3-point game. Much like what we saw in the boys 1A final.
This ball's going up.
It's closed up to 1 possession here near the horn. There's 5 seconds remaining in the half. And she's been the leading scorer in the half. Why not? Kennedi Simmons down the left side. Ahead of the horn. She gives her team a 5-point lead at the break. Oh, you want to stick around. Coming up, it is the Lane & Associates Family Dentistry halftime report. We got stats, highlights, major interviews all coming your way next. Welcome to the Lane & Associates Family Dentistry halftime report. Lane & Associates, we love to make you smile. Another first half that, as we've really said all day, does make you smile when you think in terms of the way these two teams played. Both of them faithful to their own concept, Coach, and nobody really able to force the other out of their own game.
Now, you know, Southeast, full court pressure, you know, Cuthbertson's got 9 turnovers, and that's really the big difference. And offensively, they're not doing too much. They're getting, Cuthbertson's getting their second shots, which Southeast has to stop. That's where they're getting hurt, is letting them have second shots. We're turning into fouls when they get second shots. But I think Cuthbertson at the end of the half made an adjustment to their offensive full court offense to attack the zone. So I think that's going to help them. And this Southeast is going to have to go to the defensive boards and don't let them have second shots.
That's Kevin Cantwell. He's been impressed with the adjustments made by both of these coaches along the way. If you've been impressed with what you've seen across the first now 2.5 games of the day, you'll want to stick around. Another one coming before the night is done. We will have Walter Williams taking on Southwest. That's coming up a little bit later on. But first, a lot more on the halftime show. It continues. The Lane & Associates Family Dentistry halftime report does right after this. Back in Chapel Hill for the Lane and Family Dentistry halftime report. What a first half between Cuthbertson and Southeast, and now we settle ourselves in for the second half of action. But first, it's worth taking a look back at what we saw. And before we do that, Coach, give us your impressions of this first half overall.
Yeah, I think that the full court trap from Southeast really was a success. And then right at the end of the half, Cuthbertson changed the way they were going to handle it, and it was very good. And the other thing, Southeast was getting hurt on the offensive boards. And that's, you know, they have to stop that. But other than that, if they make those adjustments, it's going to go right down to the wire.
Here's how it looks. Some outside shooting for Cuthbertson, in addition to what we know they can do well, and that's the work in the paint.
Exactly right. And then that was a transition basket. And the same thing, Southeast going to shoot the ball very well, too.
Well, and Kennedi Simmons shot it better than anybody. 17 points out of the 27 her team scored in the first half.
And that's a transition defense. They got to get back, and they have to stop penetration in half court. There's another 3.
Yeah, she wasn't the lone scorer. There's one of 2 threes knocked down by Kristen Robertson. This is how it all stacked up, and you were watching the turnovers department when we were handed the stat sheet.
Yeah, I thought 9 turnovers, but I was watching the way they were attacking the press, and it was wrong. When you take the ball out on the right side, you don't throw the ball in that corner right there. And the other thing, when the team scores, you can run the baseline. If you run the baseline and throw the ball opposite, you're going to get the ball up the court. So
a couple of things Coach will no doubt be talking with him about at the half. We'll discuss adjustments as well when we return. Halftime show continues right after this break. Well, a 5-point advantage for Southeast. carried into the locker room. Both teams now back out on the floor. We are just about ready for the second half of action. You want to tuck this away in the back of your mind. At the conclusion of the game, we'll be selecting the Hardee's player of the game. Hardee's, because it tastes better. And just one glance at the stat sheet reveals the player, if things continue to go well for Southeast, who has obviously put her name in the running. Kennedi Simmons was 17 in the first half. Looking at some other individual performers, 8 for Dillinger on the inside. On the other side for Cuthbertson, 6 for Kristen Roberts for Southeast. And then 5 points have been posted by Kayla Young. You've been really impressed with Maddie Dillinger. You seem to think she's an outstanding player with very, very solid upside in many areas of her game.
First of all, she's tall. You can't coach that. And she has long arms. And I see her. She's going to be a highly recruited girl in 2 years.
She's the leading scorer for her team going into the second half as they face a 5-point deficit. Third quarter underway. First rebound corralled by Lily Anderson.
Cuthbertson just has to take care of the basketball in the half court and in full court. They have to take care of it.
Cuthbertson holds on that first possession. Remember, this is a... Goes down to Dillinger, and she forces it on home on cue. Dillinger in double figures with that her first bucket of the second half.
That was the easiest bucket they had inside of the whole game.
You know, what adjustments do you expect to see? We see an outside shot that comes in for the Falcons, an inside shot for Cuthbertson. What adjustments are you expecting here, Coach?
Well, you know, I don't think you can't go out and play Southeast and stop them shooting. They're going to penetrate.
This is what they want. Run and gun. A little too strong. And a tie-up will place it back in the hands of Cuthbertson. So what looked like sure points for Southeast doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, they take care of the ball. And, you know, just try to stop Southeast from shooting. They're going to penetrate on you, too. So you got 2 things you have to worry about.
There's that 3 just a moment ago from Raven Preston of Southeast. Coach telling us Raven Preston is and this was a complete compliment, craziest little girl I've ever met. She said, she's going to surprise you. You never know what to expect. And I think this is a high compliment as she brings it up the floor and is fouled here. In talking about number 24, the young player, she said, scouts come into our gym, coaches come into our gym, and they're looking at our upperclassmen. They're looking at other players, and they end up leaving talking about the freshmen.
That's exactly right, which is good.
So that's a high compliment and a bright future, certainly, for a young lady who hit that 3 a moment ago, brought the ball up the floor there. Now she has it in her hands up top.
So Lillian's not going to play Sante outside. He play man-to-man, which is good. This stops the 3 a little bit.
Well, and Dillinger all the way out there. They talk about it. They'll put Dillinger out top on the best player on the other side. And she's not only the best offensive player inside, as you'll see here, fighting for the basketball. She also is their best defender all around, we're told. That cleaned up and finished up by Hardiman this time.
Those second shots. That was good defense last time. Maddie put her hand in her face. It was tough.
Good college player she's going to be, as Coach told you a moment ago, the sophomore, best offensive and defensive threat. She's locked into. Look at those eyes moving with every movement of the ball.
Good defense.
Goes down low. After Preston tried her hand at it, the shot put back up by Bethea. The junior will head to the line. Some Planet Fitness free throws coming. Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone. Well, the judgment is in on Shante Bethea. They just call her Tay. And one thing they'll tell you about Bethea, when I say the judgment is in, she wins the day when it comes to the dirty work that needs to be done inside for this Falcons team. They talk about her as being like a safety on a football defense, really directs their traffic, gets in there to mix it up. She also knocks down that Planet Fitness free throw when her team needs it here.
Yeah.
Anticipation, Simmons. And she is fouled hard, but looks like she's going to be able to get up okay. Came right in to your screen.
You know, Cuthbertson threw the ball the last time they got...
Look at the anticipation, Coach, and then here's the collision.
Throw those lob passes, but they threw the ball and he got trapped right away. And that makes them go faster and they turn it over.
Here's Planet Fitness free throws now coming for Kennedi Simmons. Simmons knocking that through, now has 18 to lead all scorers.
And defensively, she's all over the place. She does a great job.
Had the key points in the semis. If you missed it when we talked about it earlier, 9 of the 14 fourth-quarter points in the semifinal game for her team. And she came out of the chute scoring most of the points in the first period. It's such a part of their run. This is on the second, and here comes Cuthbertson.
Got to take care of the basketball.
Cuthbertson team. Call that some here in the building wanted to go the other way. It's going to be a foul. Second personal foul being called there, and here's an outside look. 3-ball goes down. Cuthbertson's Lauren Hardiman, the junior, hits another.
And Lillian Anderson, that was a nice pass. Instead, ball went inside, she popped it right back out.
7 for Hardiman in the game. Had to have that too. That pulls it back to 4. That was after that. Foul on McKinney. Here's a rebound inside. Back up the floor with it is Hardiman. Well, from the corner. Too strong. Look who's there for the rebound, and Dillinger. They're trying desperately to stay straight up with Simmons, but she'll pick up her 3rd personal here.
Lillian took that shot. I think she thought she was behind the high school line. She was behind the college line. That 3.
Well, one way to make sure is just get behind both of them.
Yeah. Right? You know, Maddie's playing. Maddie's on Kennedi Simmons, defense. So they think a lot of her.
That's what I said. They say she's their best defender. They're going to put her on the best player on the other team. Best offensive player, best defensive player. Quite a workload for her. Handles it very well. You said it. Already is evident how good a player she's going to be, how her talents and then those God-given gifts, as you said, translate to the next level.
Wingspan.
33-29 with the midway point of the 3rd approaching.
There's a trap here, 1-3-1. I don't know if it's a trap, but it's a 1-3-1 zone. They don't want to reverse it. They don't want the ball to be reversed.
Cuthbertson denying the pass as it goes all the way to the far side into the hands of Sydney Roberts.
Southeast was far away from that basket.
It's Kennedi Simmons with it. Back in the hands of Roberts. Sydney Roberts, and it's taken away. What did that pay off? Hardiman gets the roll. Just like that. 2-point basketball
Lauren's
game.
a tough player. She's tough. Offensively, defensively, she's tough. Oh, there it is.
Well, they call her the X Factor. Coach Joel Allen talking about Lauren Hardiman. X has a very high value here in this 3rd period. And as a result, it's a 33-31 affair with 3:25 left to go. Look at Lauren Hardiman. Catalyst for the Cuthbertson run. Well, we're taking a break on a pretty impressive drive to the bucket by Lauren Hardiman. A reminder, during the 4th period, we will have the Honda drive of the game. You want to stick around for that. And there are, as many of their shirts say, the Cuth Crazies providing the support for the crew out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. The pace they like. It is not quite the Queen's Cup that is played nearby, the steeplechase races. I want to slow it down. They've been able to do enough of that here in this contest so far to have themselves within striking distance. Down just a pair, looking for their 30th win of the year. And again, in case you missed it in the open, neither of these teams ever advancing past the 3rd round of the playoffs. They've seen other teams at their school provide inspiration, but they are both here for the very first time. And playing well in being here for the very first time. Another dose of Lily Anderson. Big three for the lead, and now on the other end, trying to take it right back. Won't happen. And Cuthbertson with the lead and the basketball.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Dillinger gets fouled as she puts it back up. You said it turned on a dime, and it did.
Yeah, just before the break, it was like the tables turned up. Southeast started throwing the ball away. There's two different, Cuthbertson is throwing the ball away against a full court trap. Southeast is just throwing the ball. They're throwing weak passes back and forth, and the long arms of Cuthbertson players
making a difference.
Yeah, deflecting. And so that's two different ways, but it all turns into turnovers.
Yeah, both effective, aren't they?
Yeah, it all turns into turnovers.
First of the Planet Fitness free throws, good. Coaching staff talking about the team concept that this group has bought into. Senior group bought in as 9th graders. Then you factor in a sophomore like Dillinger, some of the young players along with those upper-class leaders. Good formula. Turned into the lead here, 35-33.
Ruby Williams, I was just going to talk about it. She's the one there at the top of the zone. She's a freshman.
Well, and here's the sophomore chasing it down toward the corner. And timeout being called for by Cuthbertson. The Princeton-style offense that Cuthbertson runs, paying dividends in this third period to the tune of a 35-33 lead. And Coach, we talked earlier about Coach Joel Allen. His wife played at Appalachian State softball, an outstanding coach in his own right. They've been married 5 years. He has 2.5-year-old twins as well as a 4-year-old. So he's got the work cut out for him here at home. The softball season's in full swing. It's been a lengthy run, but he's trying to channel some of his wife's success as well and turn this into the first championship in the history of Cuthbertson women's basketball. Now, granted, the boys recently played for state twice, came up short both times against Kinston. So they're hoping that they can channel that championship spirit, turn this one into a W. They're out front here in the third period.
Take care. This ball's going to go inside, I think. No, she's going to shoot it. She's wide open.
A good look, but a little too strong. And the iron, there's going to be a foul whistled on the loose ball against Ruby Williams.
Yeah, she put her on. She held her off. But look at Ruby. She's a freshman. She's going to be at the top of this zone, and her arms, her hands, and that stuff is a major factor.
Yeah,
They're not used to that.
Think about her size as a freshman already. Certainly has the length to play at the next level as she grows more into it, Coach. Can play anywhere right now. I'll tell you, here's a long three. Firing away was Roberts. Over on the far side. Trying to step into a window is Preston. And then a traveling call will turn it over.
Christian Roberts took that shot. It was an NBA shot. This is where the court comes in. This is where the court comes in. She didn't realize how far she was out.
Yeah, that extra length on the court making all the difference. You're really trying to feel your way through a different environment than the one they've been accustomed to for their entire careers.
Perfect place to throw the ball. Opposite where you're taking the ball out. In that middle, and you're down the court. That's the way you break a press right there.
That was textbook. Under 2 minutes to play in the third. The feed inside disrupted initially, but now a foul as Dillinger tried to take it up. More Planet Fitness free throws coming. Just a first personal foul. You look at the foul situation, you may be wondering, nobody on the floor on either side having been whistled for more than 2, so no worries in the foul department just yet. And the Planet Fitness free throw goes down for Dillinger. Here comes the second. And that went off. Offensive rebound, second chance. Boy, that was everywhere but down, and then taking it away a third time was Anderson, earning a trip to the line in the process.
Lillian Anderson has played a great game. She's hit the three. She hits the boards. She's played a great game.
7 for Anderson. Dillinger, the leading scorer for Cuthbertson, with 12. 9 for Hardiman. And then Anderson was 7 and counting perhaps here. She knocks down the Planet Fitness free throw. Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone, sponsors of our free throws in the second and third quarters of today's high school championship games. Well, starting to get late here. 95 seconds remaining in the third quarter as the Cavs and the Falcons battle for the championship. Yeah, this Cuthbertson team, if you haven't been with us from the start, appropriately named. Much like the Cavaliers from across the line in Virginia, they like to slow things down.
Right.
And the Falcons, well, they're flying high, trying to run with the basketball. It's in their possession as we speak.
This 1-3-1 zone has been the key right now. This changed the tempo. This is Southeast taking those long jump shots. And look at that pass. Those are the ones that are going to get stolen.
Well, ends up taken away right at the top of the key. Cuthbertson moving quickly. Little floater in the lane. Dropped it in. Young, the latest to score, and Cuthbertson going to force the timeout as they stretch the lead out to 6. Well, just because you run a methodical offense does not mean you're incapable of stringing some points together quickly. That's what Cuthbertson has done. Comfortable anywhere on the floor.
All on turnovers. You know, all Southeast is doing shooting jump shots, and they're penetrating against the zone. That's hard to do. That's how they turned it over there. Getting some long jump shots. And it's that 1-3-1 has really been a key to get Cuthbertson back in the game.
This Cuthbertson team, they're another one of those squads. Had the privilege of working out at Cameron yesterday on the Duke campus. They then had dinner as a team at the Four Corners, one in Chapel Hill, downtown here. Trying to channel some of that Dean Smith pace and energy as well in that. And then, as we talked about earlier, said they were either going to watch the Duke-Carolina game or a movie. I don't know how many movies were watched in this area last night. Most everybody with their eyes on a Duke-Carolina game. Right now, the eyes of both these communities on this one, and they're pleased with what they're seeing from Cuthbertson. Up the floor once again. And a bucket.
No good.
Maybe waved off. Looks like it's going to be, as that's going to be offensive. Big call. Major point swing right there.
It was.
Falcons had to have it.
You know, a 1-3-1, when you play against a 1-3-1, you got to get the ball to the corners because that's where they only have one defender down there. Yes, they have to go back and forth. They're not doing that. They're throwing the ball on the perimeter. Got to get the ball to the corner. Then you can run some. Then you can penetrate. But you have to run an offense that gets it down there.
44 seconds to take for a spin here in the third quarter.
It's more like a 3-2, but it's still, you got to get the ball in the corner.
Found a little bit of a seam in that defense and was able to lay it home. Bucket for Kristen Roberts. Plenty of time for Cuthbertson here. Will they carry a lead of larger than 4 into the game's final period? In this group that has overcome injuries so far, with a deep bench and a big heart, extend their lead. Now here come the Falcons once more. A little heave. Hit wide right, but boy, are they in the thick of this one. Southeast and Cuthbertson with nothing settled as we head into the final 8 minutes of basketball here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Stay with us. The balance of this one on the other side of the break. Has arrived. 4-point separation as we head to the fourth, and time to take a look at our Honda dealers of the Carolinas drive of the game. And a look at Kayla Young's outstanding work, part of an all-hands-on-deck third period that has Cuthbertson out front as we head into the final 8 minutes of basketball. Falcons with it in their hand, Coach.
Both teams have to take care of the basketball.
Seems so simple, huh?
Yeah, it does. The state championship game in the ding-dong.
Yeah, a little more to it. And when you think about the stakes in the environment, and here's a 3-ball, rims off for Kristen Roberts.
Kristen's going to keep shooting it, so hopefully she's going to make some.
Roberts has 8 points in the game. She trails only Kennedi Simmons with 18 on the Southeast side of things. Boy, the Southeast team right there. Within striking distance into the fourth, and all kind of contact underneath. That's going to go as a blocking foul. Going to be charged on the Falcons, Shante Bethea, the junior.
Boy, Lily, when she drives, when she penetrates, she's just got her mind set up. She's going to the basket.
Hardiman, we said, big, strong, X factor, the terms used to describe her. She has had her moments in this contest. I think in terms of the 10 points now she has scored, she's in double figures alongside Dillinger with 12. They are the two leading scorers.
I might just say Lauren Hartman. I made it to the real girl, Lauren.
And now here come the Falcons. Boy, look at the length. She'll earn a trip to the line. That was Raven Preston who reached out there and grabbed it. We talked about how solid a player she is, how impressive she's been, earning all-conference honors in her freshman campaign. Think of it, Coach. All-conference for the freshman Preston, all-conference all-district for Kennedi Simmons, the junior, all-conference all-tourney player of the year for Kristen Roberts. Quite a trio for this squad.
Yes.
And they talk so much about the chemistry they've developed along the way as she works to knock down these My Computer career free throws. Not happy with your current job? In as little as 4 months, you can be starting an information technology career. No experience necessary. Visit mycomputercareer.edu. Take the free career evaluation training for a better life. That's My Computer Career. Sponsored by Free Throws. Here's a run out for Southeast. Oh, just needing one of those to fall. As it rims out, there will be shots coming, however.
The coaches
see the pace.
Definitely took the ball out on the left side of the court, and they threw the ball to the left side, and it started. It got into a trap right away, and they lost the ball when we get over half court.
One more time, we're at the My Computer Career free throw line. And they do remind you, not happy with your current job? Doesn't take long to start a brand new information technology career. That address again is mycomputercareer.edu. Free career evaluation available. They'll get you trained up for an even better life. Well, that's an even better finish to that possession for the Falcons. They're within a couple. Here's Dillinger. A little too strong, but she comes away with her own rebound initially. And how about the work to go in there and force the tie-up? Just an impressive effort underneath by Sydney Roberts. She's another of those freshmen. They talk about how quick she is, beats everybody up and down the floor. And here, she ties up the sizable factor in Dillinger and will earn herself a trip to the line for a 1-and-1. Yeah, we're talking about the chemistry of this team, Coach. Sleepovers, IHOP runs. They do it all together, and she knocks down the first of these free throws. And Rachel Clark talks about having to run them out of the gym at times because they're all in unison with one another. They practiced at the Greensboro Coliseum, another historic place for basketball, yesterday before coming out to shoot around at 11:30 to local high school, lunch. And now they're here playing for the state title. Pressure stays up after 2 big free throws by the youngster. Here's Cuthbertson. A lot of basketball left in this one. 6.5 to play.
Yeah, Southeast got back in the game and taking the ball to the basket on the foul line.
These two teams, a little new to the environment, trying to set a tradition for years to come and battling for every inch of real estate inside, and that's going to send Dillinger back to the line. Personal fouls starting to mount just a little bit. Kayla Young with 4 of them, 3 for McKinney, now 3 for Raven Preston on the other side, 3 for Ruby Williams as well. So start watching the foul situation a little more down the stretch here, and the My Computer Career free throw is good for Dillinger.
You know, Maddie Dillinger has been, she hasn't scored inside, but she's been on the foul line scoring.
Dillinger, 3 of 10 from the field, but 12 points because she's hit 6 free throws out of 12 attempts. Back over to Sydney Roberts. Dangerous pass, but the collision and a display of sportsmanship there as Hardiman reaches down and ends up helping Kristen Roberts back to her feet. Now the other thing you hear from the Southeast staff and everybody surrounding this program is that it is a family affair, all about the family. You got the sisters out there. You have a father and a daughter on the staff, and Dave Beasley and Amy Beasley is a part of the coaching staff. Can't think about family without thinking about Rachel Clark's story, which we'll get into before the night is done. Her team doesn't get the call, doesn't get the break here, but they're going to need that family atmosphere to stick together down the stretch as Cuthbertson has the ball.
It helps in the traps. And here we go. See, they threw the ball. They threw the ball to the wrong side.
Their family comes up with a steal here. Pressure paying off in a one-point game.
Togetherness always shows up by defense. That's where it shows.
That's been the mantra. You see it clearly here. Simmons still the leading scorer. She has 20. Has the basketball. Make it 22. And put Southeast back out front at 43-42 with 5.5 to play. That was getting a little crazy as they crossed the state of North Carolina on the floor, and the whistle as the foul is called. Here's another look at the slice through by Kennedi Simmons. Impressive player.
Yeah, they haven't taken any jump shots here in about 4 minutes, which is good. Everything's inside, get to the foul line, that layup.
Simmons 7 of 10, 22 points on the free throw line, taking the My Computer career foul shot. Hardiman, who had 11 going into that, still sitting with those 11 points, one of a couple in double figures alongside Dillinger.
Good idea.
It's going to be Dillinger's to clear out here. 1-point game, just under 5 to play. Standing by at the scorer's table, looking to come in at next chance is Preston. There's more of that relentless defense. The speed makes such a difference for the Falcons. Well, that almost worked its way down in. Another close miss, and then one high off the glass. And coming out of there with it, finally clearing it out, is Shante Bethea. Rapid in the last several moments, Coach.
That's the first shot that
Wide open look from 3 for Kristen Roberts. Give her 11 in the game and give her team a little breathing room. 46-42. Out front, Dillinger couldn't quite handle the pass. Behind her. And the Falcons take over. All the energy with Southeast at the moment, thanks to this big bucket from Kristen Roberts. 4 years varsity, player of the year, all conference, all tourney. Players like that, they know how to pick their spots.
Yeah, you know, she's missed the last 3 or 4, and now I knew she was going to keep shooting.
You see her.
We got Maddie Dillinger at the top here now with the long arms.
Very clear about her being their best defender, using her in these moments. Little disruption and a tie-up forced. And that will give it to Cuthbertson as they have the benefit of the alternating possession. I don't know about you, Coach, but as wild as it has been in the last few moments, not a bad time for a breather. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Final 3:46 left to settle this one. We'll be on the other side of the break. Glance at our Lane and Associates Family Dentistry Smile Cam. We love to make you smile. Boys, this game got them enjoying themselves at the Dean E. Smith Center on the campus of the University of North Carolina. 3:46 left to settle it. Pressure still being provided by Southeast, and Cuthbertson breaks it this time. Wide open look for 3. Rattles down. Huge 3 for Kayla Young, the senior MVP, all-conference player. Makes it a 1-point game.
Chloe answered again. Took the ball inside, she popped it outside. The second time she's thrown it out, someone's hit a 3.
A little inside out. Talked about the impact, the effectiveness. That Princeton offense.
See, Cuthbertson doesn't want to trap. They just want to make it, keep him far away from the basket.
These teams overcoming adversity this year to get to the final 3 minutes of a state championship game, separated by just a point. Content to work it around out top, nursing that 1-point lead.
I'm not sure they can hold it to the end of the game, though.
Well, you want to think about it when you got the lead, right? If it gets this late. Simmons fighting to stay inside, and now a whistle on the efforts of Cuthbertson's Kaylin McKinney to try and take it away. That's going to put her alongside Young if it goes against McKinney there, with 4 fouls. My computer career free throws. Kennedi Simmons, 23 points. As she knocks down the first of a couple. You think about Rachel Clark, how close she and her team are right now, Coach. Her family left Indianapolis in 1999. Dad came for an assistant position at Dudley High. Turned into a position at Southeast when the principal moved. Of course, he was diagnosed with cancer, passed away in 2003, diagnosed her senior year. She and her sister, part of the group that turned this program around. Honored with the head coaching job as a result. Boy, would be smiling right now on the way things have turned out. And her team scrambles for it, along with Dillinger, who's going to step on the line, and it will be Southeast basketball.
A little trap, get them going, turnover.
And that team that, as we get a timeout here, Cuthbertson going to gather up and talk it over. See Joel Allen pulling his team together. Just talking about Southeast. Rachel Clark. That team that she helped turn around, it was an 0-25 squad when she came on board, and they won sectional her junior year. That's the kind of turnaround the assistant coaching responsibilities that her father had, all helping lay the foundation for what she's doing now as a 5th-year head coach. Dad's birthday was 9/11. She said after they won the semifinal this past week, it was 9/11 on her phone. She thought about Dad. She said, I got to give all the credit to my sisters, my coaching staff. She gave birth to a daughter a month before the season started, her daughter Amina.
Wow.
She said what a thrill it would be to be able to win a title with Dad looking down, and in my daughter's first year alongside. Well, she has herself on the cusp, has her team in position perhaps. Cuthbertson right there as well. The stories are on all sides, and we've got 2:12 to settle it.
And she's very composed on the sideline. She did very composed. Both of them are. But both coaches. But
yeah, extremely capable coaches. We've seen them both make outstanding adjustments in this game. I told you Joel Allen's story a little earlier.
yeah.
You know, they're fighting for control of the basketball and control of the game out at midcourt. And it's going to be the Falcons to shoot, it would appear. Couple of shots coming. There's Joel Allen pleading his case.
I don't know why they're pleading anything. That was a pretty good foul.
His team's been together for a long time, too. Middle school championships. I mean, here come a couple of free throws that can stretch out the lead just a bit. But whatever happens with these My Computer career free throws, it's going to come down to about a 2-minute stretch. Who plays best in one of these fine programs coming out on top?
It's going to foul line. The turnovers.
Both of them good.
This is crucial where they take this ball and bounce. Then they put it right where they want to put it.
Simmons in the mid-20s now. And this group's so good from the free throw line in this game. Think about Kennedi Simmons, 9 of 11 from the charity stripe. In the situation to have to foul, she's not the one you want to deal with. And now this is going to be a blocking foul called against Kaylin McKinney.
That's a good call. She got there late.
So in a 5-point game with 95 seconds to play, more opportunities at the stripe, this time for Kristen Roberts.
You know, when Lauren didn't think she fouled and she got really upset.
And that's it for the mother hen, the vocal leader of this team. What a year she's had. The fans here honor that. She's been a fighter, gets in the face of her team. Maybe not exactly the way you want your career to end, but it does allow everyone to tip the cap to what a major part of this squad she's been. These kids give their heart and soul to this game, Coach, and you see it in moments like that.
Oh, yeah. Especially right down the end.
Been an outstanding player. Can her teammates elevate their game down the stretch? I'll tell you this. Southeast has elevated their free throw shooting game. Some key My Computer career free throws here late. Cuthbertson trying to battle back.
They don't want to rush it. They don't want to take any quick shots.
Rolls around, and Dillinger gets it to fall. Well, it keeps hope alive at 52-47. Still in doubt with 1:19 left to play.
You know, Lauren got upset when she fouled, and then she came down quickly on the next play, and she just took a quick shot. And if she hadn't taken that jump shot, it was the whole game. And she missed it, and they came down and they fouled.
Just stayed up on the rim for a moment, worked its way through the twine as if to say, hang on. This one's not quite done yet. Both these teams having come back at times from insurmountable odds. You look at this Cuthbertson squad, and on 21 of 22 at one point during the season, including 16 straight. They're on a run of 8 consecutive right now. You think about what Southeast did on the road in the semifinal. It was like a road game. They had to go to Capel Arena right in the backyard of E.E. Smith and eke out a 62-59 win. Battle-tested to get here, and now they're both going to be extremely tested in the final 1:19. Reset things for us here, Coach, with a 5-point game and 1 and change to play.
Yeah, Cuthbertson's got to come out. I don't think they can come out in that one free. They got to come out and play man or something to get the ball moving. They can't let them hold the ball. So, yeah, they're going to come out man full court. No more, you can't play any more zones, excuse me.
Yeah, no problem. Raven Preston to inbound. Thank you, Coach. And here is that pressure he spoke of. Nearly got the steal. And instead, they get the turnover. This is thrown away. Had to have it. And for Cuthbertson, it works out. The bench reacts. Well, so hard to close them out with so much on the line.
Ball's got to go inside. It's got to go inside. Oh.
A little collision. Worked it out of the hands of Williams that time. Under a minute to play. 5-point game. Southeast in control. Can they control? They'll opt to foul Sydney Roberts, the freshman. Roberts on the year is a 45% free throw shooter. She's made 20 of 44. Roberts, who averages about 6 per contest and has a couple of made free throws, 2 for 2 in this game. But she'll come up short on the first, and that's what Cuthbertson needs.
That's a good choice. I don't know if they want it as a freshman, so it's tough being in this position.
My Computer career free throw, no good, and the rebound away to Anderson. And a foul will stop the clock. Not what Southeast was looking for there, giving Cuthbertson a chance to score with a clock stop down 5.
No, not that far away from the basket either. I'm not sure if she's. I'm not sure if she did foul her.
52-47 after the whistle. You got it, and we will have My Computer career free throws as a result. Hard him into the line. Rims out. And now to the other end of the floor. Boy, big missed opportunity there for Cuthbertson, and to the other end of the floor where we have worked ourselves into a free throw shooting contest for the final 42.6.
Well, I think it was a good foul. I mean, right away, I think put him on the foul line. But you have to go down there and convert your end. You have to convert it your end.
That's the tough part of it. And here is Shantae Bethea. She is true on the first of the My Computer career free throws. 42.6. Separating one of these teams from a title, and it's looking increasingly like the Falcons as they extend the advantage to 54-47. Still a little token pressure. Dillinger fires up a 3. Will not go. away and into the hands of Kennedi Simmons. We will try and add to her 26 as she goes to the line, and they are starting to feel it here at the Dean Dome.
It's hard being, you look at Cuthbertson there. This is really tough. Losing's tough.
Both of these teams having fought so hard to get here. It takes a little distance and perspective to realize that the year you've had is still one that will go down in tremendous history as the first team from your school in girls basketball to make it to a state championship. But you're right, Coach, when you're this close to your dreams and you don't quite taste it, a difficult pill to swallow. And on the flip side, you see everyone coming to their feet as checking out now is Lily Anderson, another of those having given everything she had to this program and this team and leaving it all on the floor.
You know, tonight, it'll hurt tonight. Whoever loses, it'll hurt today. Tomorrow, they'll realize what they did for the year.
You got it. And on the flip side, the celebration we're about to see, a lifetime memory.
That's textbook taking it up there.
Cuthbertson breaks it. Here's Dillinger from the corner. Iron. A foul with 19.2 left to play. Well, this young Falcons squad, they worked to make sure they were more conditioned for a dome. They played the length of the floor. They wanted to exploit the advantage of their speed. Said we might start a little slow at times, but once we get our feel, we got the confidence we can play with anybody. And the message that Rachel Clark shared with her team ahead of this game is just what you talked about. Win, lose, or draw, we've already made history. Let's go out and have fun and see if we can turn it into a championship year.
Both teams had a great year at the end here. But like I said, it's going to be tough today. Whoever loses, Cuthbertson's going to have a rough day tonight, but they'll get over it. Tomorrow they'll realize what they did.
Both these teams trying to set new traditions at their specific schools, and they've done just that. Of course, Southeast talked about how the football team going to state set the bar very high and how they have been so supportive. You've seen them behind the basket. You can see them now on the left of your screen. That football team becoming an intimidating force wherever they played. The community in behind them. And it looks like it's about to pay off for this group of family. 12 seconds to play as they scramble for it. And it'll stay on this end with Cuthbertson. What a formality now with 8.2 to play. From Indianapolis in '99 to the playing days at Southeast Guilford. And now her team in position after Dillinger has her final say here to let it run out. And the Falcons are flying high. They're the champions of 3A. Southeast Guilford has claimed the school's first basketball title.
Very well played. Very well, but both teams. And that was a 2-point game, 2, 3, 4-point game.
There's the agony that, as you said, will be a temporary emotion on the other side because both these teams will step back and realize just how much they accomplished over the course of this memorable season. But the trophy, well, it will head to Greensboro, North Carolina. And Southeast Guilford's trophy case just off Route 421. They're going to be celebrating a championship for the Falcons. Cue up Freddie the Falcon. Get those football players ready to go. A lot of energy going to be needed. We're talking parades and celebrations for a 28-3, 14-0 in the conference champion in 3A girls basketball. And here is our Hardy's player of the game. You might have guessed it, Kennedi Simmons ends up with 27 points, couple of rebounds, an assist, and she is our Hardy's player of the game.
Yeah, you know, they don't put defense on, but she played great defense. She had some steals.
Numbers may not be there, but she was a force on both ends of the floor.
Exactly.
Well, you know, for Rachel Clark, one day when her daughter grows up and comes to understand that they won a state championship in her first year of existence, she'll appreciate the significance of this year on that trophy. And her father, who led her in this coaching profession, has to be smiling down as all the family celebrates with Rachel Clark, and the entire Guilford family celebrates a state championship. 55-49 the final. It's the Falcons on top of 3A. neither of these teams made it deeper than the third round of the playoffs. Can't say that anymore. It was a state championship appearance season for Cuthbertson. They are being awarded with their medals and some trophy presentations for their outstanding runner-up and champions performance when it comes to their segment of the state. But in just a few moments, the attention is going to turn to Southeast as the crew out of Guilford County has claimed a title to take back to the land of the Falcons. Boy, this is a memory they'll never forget. You said it earlier. May not completely go your way, but that snapshot is one you'll carry for a lifetime.
You're exactly right. And that game went down to the last 2 minutes.
It did.
And went to the foul line was the difference, but both teams played so hard and well coached, very well coached.
Some young players on both these teams, too, that lead us to believe we may see this type matchup again in future years.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It was an excellent game.
What are your takeaways from this one, Coach, when you sit and you watch a basketball game as toughly contested as this one was?
I just saw Southeast quickness, trapping, 17 turnovers. They created 17 turnovers. That was the difference. That was it. Because everything else was back and forth, the same. So.
And the pressure they provided, the pace they were able to set, allowing the Falcons to, as we said a few moments ago, fly high. And now beginning to be announced. The Falcons coming out receiving their medals, and these are those moments that make your life. Look at her, 27 points to lead the way for Kennedi Simmons. What an effort for the likes of Simmons, and there's Roberts, who had 13. They were the two leading scorers. They combined for 40 of the 55 points that Southeast put up.
They've been doing it all year. Those are the two. They're the two. They did a great job.
This team, they talked about their camaraderie, their chemistry as a unit. They embraced the approach and the attitude of their coach, and they believed that they could play with anybody because of the way they ran. They prepared for this moment in this building, and it paid dividends.
You know, when you're together as a team, and you want to be, you're talking about your team and chemistry, it shows up on the defensive end. Offensively, you'll see it, but not too much. But on defensive end, and they did it. Those two girls, everybody did that.
Look at that. There is young Amina in her first year of life, and it will be a year remembered as a championship season. Just a month or so before the season started. Life-changing moment for Rachel Clark, and now here in so many ways is another as she gets ready to receive her medal and a championship trophy to take back to this, which makes it even sweeter. Her alma mater. She was a 02 graduate, played in the games that helped turn the tide for this program, and now she takes a title not just to place on her resume, but back home to her community.
When you were saying all those things about the team, Owens, all that, I said she must have been a good player.
Yeah.
You don't turn things around without being a good player.
Yeah, she and her sisters, and now they have a banner to hang at Southeast.
Special
2019 championship. And she'll be over. You want to hang with us. We will hear from Rachel Clark here in the next several moments. And there you see Coach Rachel Clark. Just takes it. You've been there from a coaching standpoint. It has to take a moment or two just to let it sink in what you've just witnessed when the dreams are finally realized, Kevin.
It doesn't sink in right away. And you walk out of the gym, then you start thinking about it. Wow, went to the Final Four. I mean, went to 12 different NCAA tournaments. You don't think about it, but guess what? You're going to lose if you don't win the championship.
Well, and you can always go back to that gym. There's a banner hanging that reminds you of those lifetime moments, and that's what Guilford has earned here today. It's what Cuthbertson as well has earned here today as they take those medals home. You have a visual representation of all your hard work that stands for all of time.
You're exactly right. And Cuthbertson, they'll have a banner. They'll have a banner up, and they'll decide what they did this year. So it's good. It's all good.
Just a tremendous performance, and privileged to be alongside you. We remind fans, stay with us, because we got a lot more coming up. Williams and Southwest going to go toe-to-toe on the backside of this one. The 3A Boys Championship still on the horizon, so hang with us. We'll also have Coach coming over here in the next several moments. How about your final thoughts on this team as a unit? If you had to describe this Southeast squad to folks who maybe didn't see them here today, what is the makeup of this program, of this team?
They stayed together the whole game. No one got down. And really, both teams don't get down. But Southeast, they didn't get down. And the last 2 minutes was crucial. The game was right there. And then they went to the foul line. And they just took over there. And they kept playing hard. Nobody stopped going after the ball. They just did what they did all year.
Just a good unit, a number of complementing pieces that helped put together this outstanding performance.
And that's hard to get. You can't bottle chemistry. You can't bottle. If we did, all of your business in the world would be successful.
Sure.
But when it comes together, it's nuts. And every coach wants that. But when it comes together, it's a good feeling. And you sit over there on the sidelines and you almost know what's going to happen. You almost know that everything's going to be positive.
How about the folks at Lane and Associates Family Dentistry? They'll love all the smiles in that shot. It's a championship picture for the Falcons. And again, once these festivities they won't be closed up. They're still going to go home, experience the celebration, be greeted at the school, all that comes with being a state champion. But after that snapshot, we should get Rachel Clark. It seems she's making her way over our direction just now. And you are about to hear from the victorious head coach, the fifth-year head coach of Southeast, now a state championship winning head coach, as Rachel Clark comes to sit alongside. And coach, as you work your way in here, let me be among the first to say congratulations on a very nice effort today, and your team able to close down what was a state championship effort all season with a banner that states it as such to hang in your gym. Can you put this moment into words, coach?
I was just telling my assistant coach, I don't feel anything. Is that normal? I mean, it just felt like a natural, normal game, and we tried to, impress that upon them all week. And so they held their composure probably better than their coaches did, and I'm just super excited for them.
You talked about this team as a family. You've got a father and daughter combination on your staff.
Right.
You think about your own father, who obviously is smiling down on a day like this. Yeah. Sisters on the team. I saw your youngster in your hands. You think in terms of being in your first year of life, you're always going to be able to point to that banner and say, that's the year you were born, that we won the state championship. Right. This family pulled it off. What does that mean to the community as you get ready to go back and share it with the entire family of Southeast?
It was an entire school effort. We had so much support this entire playoff run. They sent us off with love, and so this is for the entire school.
And you followed in the footsteps of your dad.
Yeah.
Not to get too emotional on it, but he is smiling down
I heard it all week, so.
You were part of the turnaround for this program as a player. And that leads me to my next question. How gratifying is it, aside from all of that, to take a championship back to the gymnasium, to the place, to the school, where your blood, sweat, and tears were invested as a player, to take it home?
It's awesome. We were also talking about that. We've got several players that graduated from Southeast, so we're kind of living vicariously through them. So for them to be able to take it all the way and do something that we couldn't do is just amazing.
The moment that it became clear this championship was going to be yours, can you describe the emotion of that moment with your team on the floor as the seconds wound down?
It wasn't until about there were 20 seconds left and we were up by a good 5 or 6. But it was hard to contain it and just keep it inside. Trying to be, humble for the other team, knowing that they're not feeling, great after this game, but they should feel amazing because they played hard.
Yeah, 2 outstanding championship efforts on both sides.
Absolutely.
Last question for you, Coach. You said we're about more than just this game. We want to establish a new tradition at Southeast.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've taken the first step in that mode today?
Oh, yeah. We've got 3 freshmen that played good minutes tonight, so they'll remember this forever, and they'll be able to take that back to all of our teams that are coming up.
Well, you heard it right there. More to come. It is a family affair. Coaching is that. This effort has been that, and it results in a championship for the Falcons. They are at the top of the heap in 3A. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
The final 55-49. Southeast Guilford, a winner in the Dean E. Smith Center. Reminder, stick with us. Another game coming. We've got the 3A Boys Championship. Walter Williams in Southwest Guilford due up next. Coach Kevin Cantwell will be back. We'll have the call for you in just a bit. But right now, all congratulations in order to the Falcons. Deepest run ever. And it ends with a banner hanging as 3A champions.